This is Rodney Ham, your candidate for Ohio's next solution as governor. What I wanted to go over today a little bit with our children and what our roles are as parents, as society members, and how we can change the direction of a child by the manner in which that we communicate as the parents, as the community, and gear our efforts towards the success of our child. One thing that I brought up, which was a little controversial, was this insert in your arm used for birth control that seems to be one of the more effective ways to treat unwanted conceptions. We need to get together on this as a government and try to understand the predicament that we're in as far as population control and how to curb it or how to treat it instead of turning a blind eye to it. There's a lot of people who will talk about abstinence. It's not an easy thing for anyone to be in that situation. So it's not realistic when you're talking about young adults out here in social environments to think that they're not going to have some mishaps. So we need to teach them that there's alternatives to it. And I actually believe that we need to take a look at making it mandatory, not only for the success of our society, because of the expenses involved with these children who are not capable of raising children, is how I would put it. I think that we should make it a mandatory thing for people to not be able to breed until the age of 25, where they have their bearings straight and they have a better chance of being successful as an American family, instead of burdening the economy and costing our social services in one way, shape, or form. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we have to raise them. And so as we go about creating our American family, I think that we should focus on the children as the centerpiece of the family, even in a divorce, which is a real stressor for a child's life. You need to be partners, and that partnership needs to be centered on raising that child. The bully behavior and the power games that are played in a divorce, through the courts even sometimes, needs to end. So I think that we need severe penalties when it comes to making sure that we follow these court orders, as far as pickup times, as far as parenting classes, and teaching these parents in a new role as single parents unified for the betterment of their child, how to go about putting your personal problems on the shelf and allowing the other parent to add that beautiful ingredient that they have into that child's life. A lot of times you'll notice when a family falls apart, the children's behavior will change, and so will the parents, both of them. And they change for the worse, I believe, with the parent that's denied the right to spend that quality time with their child. It's something that you'll see a lot of. I know I have. And then the other person tries to justify the absent parent by saying, "See, that's who they are," and the child already knows that that's not who they are. It's who they became. Because you married that person, you fell in love with that person, or you had a child with that person. So at one point, that person was pretty special to you. And a lot of times people take their children for fools, and they're not fools. I want to follow that up by talking about bully-type behavior. And it happens on both sides of the fence with men and women who are involved in relationships where they're sharing a child and trying to position themselves as the person in charge, meaning that they're in control of the other parent as that parent has those parental visits and quality time with their child and trying to dictate what they're going to do with them. That ends up rubbing off in a disrespectful way from the child to the parent because they see the other person as programmable or the other person serves some kind of utilitarian role as far as being able and capable of keeping them safe and doing all the things responsibly to take care of that child. So you're really doing damage in the long run. Single parents, especially mothers, have to have a support network that is greater than the one we have today. And I've quoted Bill Gates and also Steve Jobs and several other people in the new American work environment, which is IT, and the metrosexual type of society that we're creating or hopefully becoming, to where we support each other in a positive way. And there's a lot of people that you could point at as far as role models, if you will. One of them locally for me is Josh Patrick. He's an amazing human being, and he'll go out of his way to be nice and to support people. And that's what we need in America, is people like that. And the philosophy behind Silicon Valley's attempts to create CHILDCARE and to be more understanding of the role that work plays in a parent's life is part of a bigger picture. And a stronger human being is a stronger employee. And we can build families, or at least assist to build families, by paying attention to the things that were done by IBM, by Apple Computers, and by the rest of the Silicon Valley world out there. As we try to build America again into more of that metrosexual type of citizen, and try to spread that throughout Latin America, which is going to be crucial and critical to the overall success of not only the North American continent, but to catch up with the rest of the world. There's a difference between human rights and common sense. Human rights, to me, are things that have to be enforced because tolerances have built up over generations to what is just ignorance. Common sense is when I say a happier person at home is a more productive person at work, because they stay happy and elated and feel good about the job that they're doing. I've also discussed that a lot on my addiction episodes, where I talk about how to conquer your demons, if you will. And it all starts with becoming a stable human being who's comfortable inside your own skin, because the people around you have been a positive support and taught you that your unique qualities are the qualities that we love about you the most, and nurtured them. We want people, who are going to be different than we are, because it's those differences that enamor and charm us. And it helps for us to be a bigger blend in America, to add more to America. And I think that it's important that we start with these children at school, and we start to address things like the online bullying and the patterns of behavior that single our children out and separate them from the pack, and start to treat them as outcasts to where they begin to reflect that outcast type of personality trait, where they start to become loners, they start to listen to a lot of hate music, and then eventually end up becoming miserable drug addicts or alcoholics. And a lot of them end up on the despair trail, which will end usually in overdoses and suicide. I think that big role players in all of this can be churches, colleges, and government. As far as gearing society to address these issues, I've got some radical ideas that will help, I believe, in building this stronger family unit. And a lot of it has to do with common sense things, like going around to these grocers and restaurants on a daily basis with some of our civil servants or some of our church groups and picking up the extra spoilage and taking it to jail, saving the state money. Also helping the state will be when the parent has the ability to get back to work, because healthcare and childcare are provided